everyone, welcome to my channel Pretty Pink Soul Movement, and I'm Michelle Cool, and today I wanted to do another video on soul contracts. However, this is to discuss about the soul contracts not only in this life but in past lives as well, and how it intermingles with our soul contracts today. So I watched a movie that I have actually seen before called Cloud Atlas. Not sure if you've seen it. But when I saw it maybe 4 or 5, 6 years ago, it didn't resonate because I know what I know now. So if you watch it again, you may feel the same way. It was literally being in different times and having the same soul groups of people in your life and literally working through the same lessons. So that resonated because I know in this lifetime I've got similar lessons to the past lives I've had. Obviously not in every single way, but the ones that I haven't cleared from my past lifetimes, the ones I struggled with because I didn't know what, I guess I know now, right? And this is like what's basically happened in this lifetime. We're more aware, right? We're living in the time of the Great Awakening, so we know what we know now, and we're able to clear the past karma, which is why 2020 has been, and the lead up to it has been harsh, but 2020 has been quite difficult karma clearing wise. It's literally feels like every year it's just upping the ante and what we need to clear. But the more awake you are, the more you're actually able to manage it, because if you had to transmute and work through what you did say 4, 5, 6 years ago, most people would be having a breakdown, right? So the more we become awake, and say you're watching this, so you're a light worker, so you probably already know that, but anyway, you shining your light and speaking your truth and doing your thing and getting involved in your awakening and healing, you're healing ancestral karma, you're healing your past lives, because they're all happening simultaneously. You're transmuting so much, and you're doing that because of all the work that you've previously done. So I guess I'm here to say don't stop, because we need you, because people are still awakening. So we need to get out there and speak our truth and share our healing message. But it was very interesting, even plotting my own past lives. And the only times I actually saw, I guess, my demise in past lives, that's something, the memory is carried within your soul. So this is why you fear certain things. Say you died falling down stairs, you're going to fear stairs for no reason in this lifetime. It's those kind of things that you fear for no reason, and I saw some pretty nasty ones for me, which I won't go into, but I don't know how bored people get. But, and that stuff has come into this lifetime, and I've seen the past lives through my intention because I was ready to. But also, Spirit only shows you what you need to know. You're not going to get random visions that mean nothing. It has to be applicable to your life and to your growth, your soul growth right now, and what you need to know and what you need to learn. So Spirit shows you things on a need to know basis. They'll give you messages because they know you're ready for it, or you need it for your growth, right? And I'm hearing soul essence, for your soul essence to be more established in this world. Cool. But yeah, so it's really interesting to plot and note what have you really struggled with this lifetime, and that would be actually a good indication on what you've struggled with in previous lifetimes. Distrust with, just look at all the things that have been hard in your life, and no doubt that would have been a theme in your other past lives, or one past life, or whatever, right? So Cloud Atlas, the movie, it was basically, they were in different locations, in different star systems, and they were playing out similar things over and over again, running into the same people, and then looking at them and going, I just met you, but I know you, or I feel like I need to work with you and do something different with you in order for the good of humanity, which that's what's giving me goosebumps right now. But that's what really resonated, right? And I actually had something happen to me. Now I know this is really hard, to deal with, but part of that movie was all about speaking your truth, and that's what really resonated with me. And that's something my guides have been telling me to say, even though it feels hard to say it anyway. So I met a friend a couple of weeks ago, and it was the same kind of thing. It's like, we had that same sense of humor. Like, he was super cheeky, and just like lots of fun. And, we talked about astrology, and I was looking into his natal chart. And he's like, okay, I'll message you tonight because I really want to talk about this. He's like, I find this really interesting. And I'm like, I know I've known him like as a friend or whatever, or, you can play any sort of role in someone's life in past lives. He could have been my dad, or I could have been his dad. Who knows? But like, I knew there was a connection there. But like most people, when I meet them, they don't have that soul recognition like I do. But I just knew there was something there. And he's like, yep, cool, I'm going to message you. I really want to talk about this. So I was like, yeah, cool. And then I didn't get a message. I'm like, okay, weird, maybe he's busy. Didn't hear from him for days. And then I found out 2 days ago that he actually died on the way home, about an hour and a half after I saw him. And so I've been kind of dealing with that last couple of days and having flashbacks to those times, where I've lost a lot of people, and a lot of the light workers, we lose a lot of people. I know you can say that for anyone, but we seem to be just in someone's life as they're just about to cross over, or, you're there after they pass away, or, I lost the closest people to me quite young. And so kind of brought all that back, as well as him, and it was just, it was a shit experience. And how do you deal with something like that? You just don't, because even though I know what I know now, it does bring me some comfort. Like, I know that was part of his soul contract, and I talked to him for a bit after, but I've been talking to my guides about it, just going, okay, cool. So, in a way I was like, was I the trigger? Was I the catalyst for that? And I spoke to one of my lovely watchers, Nicole, and she's like, you're meant to be there to help him, give him peace and love and stuff before he crossed over, which is what we do. So, but it doesn't make it any easier, does it? And I forgot what I was going to say. It's not an easy thing to process, even knowing what I know. Ego side, to comprehend what happened, I guess it gives my ego the information it needs to, I guess, be satisfied with the outcome in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like, because a lot of things people question when they lose someone is why? Why did that have to happen? Why did that happen? And I guess I had a little bit of that, but I've, then the spiritual side kicks in. It's like, okay, that was part of his contract. And what my guide said to me was like, and this is something that I wrote in my first book that I never released. It was talking about it's like a choose your own adventure. The outcome was meant to happen, if not exactly at that time, it would have happened, the situation would have lined up like 3 months from now or a year from now. Like, it had to happen anyway. And through a series of choices, he ended up with that situation, which was really not a good situation. It was quite horrible, but I felt, and I can't watch scary movies and stuff because I feel things too deeply, but I needed to know how he died. And that was really hard, actually. I think it sucks no matter what happened. Like, my dad had cancer, and watching him for years go down like that was horrid. It was more because he had healed himself before, but it was more, he knew how to heal himself, but he gave up, and that's what it was, and that's what ate at me, And I remember saying to him, when he started to get bad for the second time, I just said, I don't want you to give up now, and then when you get closer to the time, you'll regret it, and then, you know, try to fight for your life. He's like, no, I made my decision. And my dad was so stubborn, you know, and it did get closer to the time, and then all of a sudden he wanted to try something and it was too late, you know. But that was his choice. But while it's horrible to watch someone go through that, it's still a massive shock. There is no easy way to process someone that died, basically. I'm trying to say in a long roundabout way. There's no easy way to process it. Whether they go quickly or it drags on, it just all kills you, guts at you. And even though you're a spiritual person, it doesn't hurt any less, I guess. You always think about what could have been and stuff like that. And just I guess for me as well, and this may sound selfish, but it's not often I'll meet, you know, soulmates, like, you know, as friends and stuff. It's not, as you know, it's not about lovers, you know, it's family and all sorts, you know. And it's been a while since I'd met someone that I recognize at a soul level, and they all seem to end badly, not like through death. Although I did feel like I was a bit of an angel of death for a second there. I'm like, oh my God, why does this keep happening? But I did speak to him after because I wanted to know what happened, and I did watch some of the news reports, and police are asking for CCTV from people around because they don't know what happened. But what he said to me was it bloody came out of nowhere. So, because I was wondering, everyone's wondering, you know, did he misjudge it? Like, did the other person misjudge it? And he just said it bloody came out of nowhere. And while that doesn't really give me an answer, it gives me peace. And he's actually still his jovial self. Because when you cross over, you're still you're shocked and you're sad for, you know, dying is more about the people that are left behind than the person that's, you know, gone. Because he's returned to the spirit world where he knows, you know, that was his plan, that was his life, that was, you know, that was, I heard him say that was meant for him, you know, which doesn't make it any easier. But he was like laughing, he's like, bloody came out of nowhere, and being his cheeky self, which I know when at the time I spoke to a clairvoyant years ago when I didn't know I had this gift. And she was bringing my dad through, and he was the same. He was still like joking and laughing and cracking up. It was where I get my sense of humor from. I'm like, but I could only remember him as the person that was like slowly fading away before my eyes for, you know, 2 years. And then I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's how he used to be. Like, you know, and he talked about the jokes we had. And on the way to the clairvoyant, he was like turning my hip hop music down in the car. And I just knew it was him, because he hated that music. It was quite funny. Like, you know, he still played jokes on me after that too, you know. They don't lose who they are because they've crossed over. They just know better, and they know the plan better, and they're back into, that's the real world really, isn't it? Spirit world is the real world. You know, so he's fine. And then they cross over and do whatever they need to do, because they have to sit with their soul group afterwards. Like, it's literally like, you know, I don't know, sitting around with, depends how many people in your direct soul group, the people that you've had the biggest impact on in your lives, right? And then you'll have like another group around them that, you know, people like me that I just kind of like, I was there for 2 seconds and that was it. Do you know what I mean? Then there's another tier behind that of people that are just almost like scheduled to shift your reality onto the track it needs to go in by doing things, saying things, being there. You know, it's the people outside of our lives that interact with us, that affect our lives. You know, I know there's so much to it. But, you know, he'll sit with his direct soul group and his guides, and they'll talk him through what happened. They'll talk him through this life. There'll be a video reel of stuff. You know, it's like, I'm like, okay, every time something crazy happens to me, I'm like, add that to the blooper reel. I want to see that again when I cross over. You know, they'll go through that. They'll go through, okay, did you go through the lessons you wanted to go through this lifetime? What did you learn? How did you do things different? You know, it's like this whole interview after living on Earth again. He's got his stuff he needs to do. He needs to transmute his energy and clear himself, and then they go off to wherever they need to go off to for a scheduled amount of time to do whatever they have to do. I can't remember. I'm not meant to know. But if you want to know more about soul groups, there's a book by Michael Newton. I think it's called The Soul Journey. It's the blue one. He's got two. It's the blue one. That blew my mind. And I had an awesome experience after I read that. And it's about a hypnotherapist that goes through. He didn't realize he was regressing people through hypnotherapy. He wanted to regress them to, you know, childhood so that he could help them resolve their issues. But he went back further than that. And then all the information he was getting from thousands and thousands and thousands of people with the same thing about the soul groups and things like that. And it just, you read it, you know, just resonate. Like, oh, it's almost like you remember. I just saw a sparkle. You'll be like, oh my God, yes, that feels right. You know, you'll remember it. Your soul will remember it because that's truth. So I guess there's this comfort in knowing that they're not alone and that, you know, they decided to leave without knowing it at a human level for whatever they needed to like learn. And also like them leaving triggers things in us, right? We have to go through healing and pain, and we recalibrate our lives based on someone else's life, don't we? It affects us more than it affects them. So it's like they trigger us, you know, it's this ripple effect. So we can heal more, process more, grieve more, I don't know, be closer to our families because of it. There'll be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, you know, that his life has touched, and it will affect everyone in different ways, in ways that it's meant to, for our soul growth and healing. You know, some people, they could be like, oh my God, you know, I'm going to change my life now. Like his life could save other lives. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm going to be more careful now. I'm going to be more careful. I'm going to pay more attention now. Or I'm going to make those plans I wanted to plan. Or I'm going to stop fearing being in love, because what's worse to love and then be in pain from that, or to never have it at all and cross over and then go, oh shit, that was on my list of things I was supposed to do and I was just too chicken shit to fall in love again. You know, it really does reframe everyone's life in a different way according to what they needed, this catalyst moment to push them towards. So as painful or as hard as it is, and as we know, pain is the only thing that will make us shift and change and move, really. That and that energy of frustration and being fed up. You know, so I want to thank him for making a difference in my life, in this life, in that short amount of time, and all the other people that have crossed over and affected so many other people, to help them like shift and change and grow and learn. You know, we're very lucky to have what we have and to be guided by spirit and to wake up and make a difference, you know, because that's what I want to do every day. I want to wake up. Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do every day? I want to make a difference to people's lives, you know, and obviously to my life. I want peace, I want joy, I want fulfillment, I want to, you know, be my soul purpose all the time, and I want to have fun, you know, and that's the thing, like this guy brought fun with, it's rare for me to find people that are fun, you know, that are deep and fun. That's like a sign of an old soul, you know, and he was, it was like, wow. Had it for like a second and it was gone. But it was better to have that than not at all. So I hope this resonated with you. Check out Cloud Atlas movie. It was very powerful. It was hard to understand what they were saying because they were like, you know, in different cultures or different times, and they were speaking weird, but you get the gist of it through their body language and stuff like that. And how they interact with each other, and it reminded me a lot I know about, like, you know, other star systems visiting us, and that the key message was in all these soul groups was to do the right thing. To do the right thing, no matter how much like money it costs you, or fuck what anyone else says or tells you to do, or how to live your life. It's about doing the right thing. And in every lifetime they did the right thing. They pushed through for the greater good to make a difference in this world, which is why we're all here, to speak our truth, no matter what the ramifications are, no matter what the fallout is to speak your soul truth. So I hope you do that today. Bye.